I honestly want to know how am I going to make a video condemning Jake Paul and Logan Paul without sounding not original. Oh great, another video saying Jake and Logan are dicks and their fans are absolute cunts. What else is new? For the record, both statements are true, but I can't really say it any other way. They all frankly deserve to be submerged in acid. But the thing that baffles me though is comparing what happened to Logan Paul to what happened with JonTron and PewDiePie last year. I honestly cannot for the love of my life understand how can you compare someone who came over Japan and being horrendously disrespectful to everyone, including a dead body, and someone who said the N-word and have crazy opinions about immigration. It's like saying this dog who barked too loudly is just as bad as the dog who pissed on the grave of your dead mother. What's even worse is when someone used this horrendous event as a justification for a social media censorship brigade. Social media has its problems of immoral, nasty people being immoral, but I would like to attribute that more into the human nature and less to how the platforms are implemented. Social media platforms are just there to give you the platform. It's how you use it that matters. You can either conform to the demands of trolls telling you to kill yourself or delete your channel, or you can keep on sharing your opinions and piss them off even more. See? You have the power to piss off these trolls. If the trolls say that your voice is garbage, you can just make it worse and put them through an insufferable screeching. If the trolls say to stop watching anime, watch 3 more seasons of Dragon Ball Z. If they say you need to stop streaming video games, start streaming Cuphead and watch them suffer as you keep on dying. If they say that you need to kill yourself, just stay alive until you actually die. If they say you should delete your channel, keep your channel still. It's pretty easy to fight the trolls because they literally have no power over you. If the trolls actually want me to drink bleach or delete my channel, they have to actually put me at gunpoint while being bare naked in sunlight next to a church. And just by then, I will take pictures of you and leave because wow, you're a moron. The reason why I give you my guide in how to handle trolls is that this is basically the tactic that both Jake and Logan are doing, except this time they dab on them haters and they can't really distinguish between actual hate and legitimate criticisms. They shrug off criticisms like the Baker family shrugging off bullets. This has been their thing ever since last year. Now, if you're one of those people who say, well, I watched the re-uploaded video and I don't think it was that bad, congratulations, that's also my opinion until I watched Japanese man Yuta's video on Jake Paul. Turns out he's not only being disrespectful to the dead body, but also to Japanese pedestrians in general. At this moment, I want Jake Paul and Logan Paul to actually come over into Southeast Asia and meet the same horrible fate as the tourists from Far Cry 3. Don't worry guys, we pirates off of Tropical Island will treat you well. We're going to give you nice exotic food, great 5-star hotel, and after all of that, we're gonna throw you off into the pet Komodo dragons and get slaughtered by Rangda at night. A lot of YouTubers who are critical of Jake Paul argue in the perspective of, well, a lot of their fans are children, and you are absolutely right. It's just that I am not the most empathetic person in the world, so it's hard for me to empathize over children who are fans of these two brats in the first place. When a Japanese vlogger decided to share her opinions about the Logan Paul situation, she got tons and tons of genuinely racist and hateful comment from the fans. But then again, using that would be unfair because I have fans who are dumb as well. It's just that after seeing what Logan is doing in his vlogs and seeing his fans supporting it, even when it's about something serious, you can't deny that he has major influence over them. Kids these days are easily impressionable. At least with PewDiePie and JonTron, his fans are gonna grow up becoming a legit comedy YouTuber. What do you think the fans of Jake and Logan Paul are gonna aspire to be? Absolute dicks? So to put it short, Logan Paul is a dick, his fans are cunts, they shrug off every criticism, but only this time Logan Paul apologized and left social media. So what else is new?
It's not just Logan Paul and YouTube. The moral compass of social media is broken. The ethics of online speech are contextual, and it's time to act like it.
I agree with the part that the moral compass of social media is broken because it is. Social media is a place where almost any interaction can happen, and the result of those interactions can lead to either friendship or absolute hatred. Social media has existed for years now, and whatever attempts that people do to stop the trolls or curb the bad people off of the site, they don't always work well. They will always come in every corner, every circle of life, so the best thing that we can do as human beings is just to avoid them. If the internet is the post-apocalyptic wasteland, you are the lone wanderer. Either you try your hardest to control the raiders or actually equip yourself with guns to defend yourself, or try to avoid them and survive because they exist in every part of life and will bother you when you have their attention. And the bullets are freaking scarce. But it's not about dealing with trolls, it's about big-name YouTubers who have millions of subscribers influencing their fans. And frankly, I'd rather have my children or younger relatives to be fans of PewDiePie than YouTube's featured recommendation, which is coincidentally their most insufferable douchebags. So what is this article talking about? Well, basically the article uses the event of Logan Paul to virtue signal over the lack of voice that minorities suffer on the internet. Two things that literally have nothing to do with each other.
It's a problem that extends beyond YouTube as a platform to streaming and social media at large, where large platforms tiptoe around the sensibilities of loud, angry users at the expense of anyone they can sacrifice on their pyre of rage. It creates a situation where women, people of color, queer, and disabled people all lack equal access to the service, laboring under the added burden of an angry mob scrutinizing their every move, even when they're not famous by any metric.
I'm sorry, article, but this has nothing to do with the discussion of our topic at hand. What are you doing? Get back to the topic, please.
The idealistic dream that these services sell to users, that anyone can be famous with a mic, a keyboard, a webcam, and a bit of elbow grease, sounds like the culmination of early cyber-utopianism, but in practice it often means elevating people to fame when they are wildly unprepared for the ethical responsibilities of consequences, broadcasting their content to billions of fans, including children, around the world.
Thank you! Finally, something relevant, and actually something that I can agree on. By the time you put yourself in the world, you don't really know whether or not you're going to get famous. You don't know the kinds of audiences who will watch you. When you have such massive influence, especially towards children, you have the responsibility to be positive and entertaining. This is something that has been constantly said to both Jake and Logan for the past couple of years, and they shrugged it off, ignoring the repercussions of raising an entire generation of horrendously immature kids that will become just about as disrespectful and douchebags as both of them. I want the article to dive more into this because this is a legitimately interesting topic, but the article decided to spread more lies.
As a principle, it means companies tie their own hands when dealing with edgelords who think Nazism is cool. There are only empty platitudes about free speech to be found in their wake.
Edgelords who think Nazism is cool? Are you referring to PewDiePie? Are you seriously suggesting that his videos are supporting Nazism? Even if you're referring to someone like Richard Spencer or any other alt-right YouTubers, do you think that Jews and ethnostates are things that kids these days love to talk about? There's a reason why the Paul brothers are popular, because they're a bunch of immature rich brats who flex way too much expensive garbage thanks to making garbage pop music. PewDiePie treated Nazism as jokes in his videos, things that you took out of context. If the Nazis are alive to this day, they'd be more offended with PewDiePie treating them as jokes and become a lot happier by the time you think that they are intimidating. So this article is going to suggest totalitarian moderation of social media based on misinformation, which is like nuking South Korea because it has an oppressive dictator.
The internet's lawlessness came about as a feature, not a bug, premised on the libertarian ideal of self-direction unfettered by systems. Everything would be permitted, the thinking went, and cyber society would simply balance itself out automatically without the need for oppressive governments or organizational rules.
You are conflating random words being said on the internet that may or may not be taken out of context and horrendously disrespectful behaviors. Keep in mind that doxing is still illegal, child pornography is still illegal, online gambling is illegal in some countries even. What Logan Paul did is being utterly disrespectful. PewDiePie saying the N-word and JonTron saying his opinions are just stupid things that people say on the internet. Don't treat them as equals because they are not, and if you think they are, you are wrong.
Our great boon of the internet, particularly for marginalized voices, is how it allows people to share content and ideas that might never make it past old school gatekeepers and censors. At times, it can be refreshing and enlightening to see media and perspectives that doesn't labor under stultifying FCC's obscenity codes, to hear voices we might not have otherwise heard.
Of course they can. Look at me with 37,000 subscribers. Of course people of color can have their voices on the internet. They just need to have good, well-structured, logical opinions, irresistible charisma, and funny sense of humor, all of which I don't have, so I'm starting to question my viewers' taste.
The vile content that is amplified through digital megaphones is a reminder of why ethics and standards can be valuable, especially for the platforms that project the loudest voices in our culture. The solution, however, is not merely to clutch our pearls and demand that social media think of the children, but rather to implement clear, contextual codes of conduct with transparent enforcement that is tailored to the distinctions of every case, including human oversight at every stage. The latter is important. Without it, we run the risk of employing automated systems that reproduce biases at light speed.
That's right, more totalitarian social media policing, as if our current popular social media sites aren't being totalitarian enough. Good luck maintaining a sustainable social media where people are banned left and right for the stupidest of things. But hey, at least Reset Era is being honest in why they're banning people.
For a choice example, we need only to look at the November incident involving the professional Twitch streamer aptly called Trainwrecks, who is a member of the platform.
God, no, not him. Okay, I'll let you say your point and I will proceed to include clips of his rant.
For a choice example, we need only to look at the November incident involving the professional Twitch streamer aptly called Trainwrecks, who is a member of the platform's partner program. In a fit of entitled pique, he decided to stream a misogynistic rant about so-called booby streamers, or female content creators on the platform who wear revealing clothing or inject elements of sexiness into their game streams. It described in profane detail his rage at the growing presence of those women in what he perceived as his community and what he believed they were taking away from him.
These girls that rejected us, these girls that come back into our streaming community with the same goddamn stories, with the same goddamn pity shit, with their titties out, with their pussies out, with their goddamn motherfucking yoga pants on, with their asses squatting. I am the leader! From now on, we will not give you money! From now on, we will not sub to you! From now on, we will do nothing unless you prove to us it is not an act! Listen, I am Lord Ragnar! I am Lord Ragnar!
You banned him. Okay. I mean, it was clearly semi-ironic, but okay.
Okay, let me tell you something about this guy. First off, that rant is so horrendously stupid. If you chose him as an example to highlight misogyny on the internet, it proves that you're not interested in any sort of discussion about the state of Twitch. All you're interested is proving that misogyny exists and men hated it when women are dominating their platforms, even if all we need to do is pull off squats and having massive tits. I recommend you to watch Pyrocynical's video or Critical's video about the Twitch streamers if you want to know what the real problem is. But then again, one of the many tactics that journalists absolutely love to do is to ignore the main issue and just point out the absolute morons that make the dumbest points. In this case, Trainwreck. In other words, they are after low-hanging fruits because they know that the invasion of cam girls is incredibly hypocritical for Twitch to do.
Now the problem is with the IRL section, it has a very open grey area. As long as you don't break any of the very obvious community guidelines, pretty much anything is fair game. So a lot of these girls have taken advantage of that and dedicated their entire stream to just flaunting off their body. The only rule I could find: inappropriate broadcaster behavior and attire. Nudity and conduct involving overtly sexual behavior and or attire are prohibited. And this brings another problem because the word overtly sexual, it's so great. You're basically reading YouTube's community guidelines at this point.
So let's ignore the issue that people have in favor of talking about misogyny, or an even better idea, forget about all of those and just victimize yourself.
Women and other minorities face backlash no matter what they do, how they act, how they dress, or what they say. The solution, then, shouldn't involve regulating behavior of the people who suffer the most abuse online, or enabling the people who inflict it.
I think you should replace women with everyone on the internet ever, including PewDiePie, JonTron, and of course Trainwreck, but they're men, therefore it's okay to hurl backlash at them the same way we did.
It's a dilemma every social media platform confronts. Cave to the angry fanbases of popular users who want unfettered license to do as they please, or try more expensive, involving context-based moderation techniques that uphold the principle that no one is too big to ban.
In other words, freedom of speech or totalitarian control, letting people speak their minds even if it sounds uncomfortable, or letting people speak certain topics that these moral guardians approve of. Let children to actually listen to multiple different ideas where they can actually think for the pros, the cons, and learn from them, or let them listen to one and only one idea that these moral guardians approve of. I will let you decide for yourself, internet.